Well, hello everybody. It's been a while. I hope everybody is surviving the corona apocalypse. It looks like we are finally starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel on that. Here in Seattle, I think we've got about 80% vaccination rate, which is awesome. And life is very much returning to normal. Ann and I we went to our restaurant for the first time in over a year yesterday and enjoyed some Mexican food, which I was really chomping at the bit for. I went to a Mariner game and we've seen a couple movies in the theaters, all in the past couple months after basically spending a year in isolation in our house. So once we were able to get the vaccine, which we all, my wife, myself, and my son all had the vaccine, we were completely vaccinated by February 27th. Life has been getting closer and closer to normal. We've had the neighbors over for movie night too, which we used to do almost every week. So anyway, I hope everybody else is starting to recover from the coronavirus apocalypse as well. Here is the last male dovi from that batch of yellow and red ones that I got. All the ones that were yellow or red have died. They were not great fish in terms of quality. I think that the color morphs have been inbred so badly that the gene pool is so limited that they just didn't have it. Not really aggressive. I couldn't get them really to eat. They didn't grow. Ironically, the only one that turned out to be interesting was this regular old Costa Rican morph, which is actually a spectacular fish. It's really beautiful colors in him. I do have one of the red morphs left. It's actually a whitish morph in my big tank across the way, which I'll show you, which is basically the red devils. But it's a blind fish. Again, when it changed colors, it lost all of its zeal and pep, and it is blind, and I'm surprised it's been able to survive in that 1,000. When I originally put it in that tank, it was still a fish much like this one, very aggressive, hardy. He was just starting to, maybe he was about half turned, and I thought, wow, this guy's going in the 1,000 with those red devils while he's small, so he'll get used to them, and I'll have this awesome big male red dovi in that tank. And that's just not how it turned out. Once it completely changed colors, it lost its eyesight, and it just struggles to survive in there. I don't have the heart to euthanize it, but I do hand feed it so it gets food, and I mean, what can you do? Anyway, so this is the male. It's got beautiful coloration. It's quite a hardy fish. It's probably in the foot range now. So that's what's going on in this tank. I've had a lot of people email me and YouTube me and what have you, asking for an update. And I just haven't done any because I just don't have anything really exciting to say anymore. You guys have seen these same fish lots of times. And I just don't have all that much. I'm not getting any more new fish anymore. I'm slowly, as I'm approaching 70 years old, I'm slowly kind of I wouldn't say phasing the hobby out, but I'm not acquiring any new fish. Certainly not getting any new tanks. And at some point down the road, I'm sure Ann and I are going to want to move to a smaller place, and that'll pretty much spell the end of the fish. Anyhow, here's where we are now. The red devils are still doing great. If we go way over to this corner of the tank, you can see the albino dovi, and there he is. It's white, and it's blind, and it pretty much just hangs in the corner. It does come out at feeding time, and I hand feed it and stuff. But for the most part, it stays close to the corner where it, excuse me, where it feels safe. So that's, excuse me, I got a dry throat. I didn't bring any water. That's what's going on over here. There's one of my cats in the garage with me, Arrow. Say hi, Arrow. He's coming up on his cat pole. There he goes. When he jumps up there, that usually means he wants me to feed him. So I'll have to do that. I'll get you some food in just a minute, Arrow. And over in this tank, it's now pretty much all convicts. There's still a couple green terrors in here, but it's mostly convicts. A lot of the morphed ones that I got that are kind of, they're not really pink, kind of orange and what have you, but they're interesting fish. And I have kind of let the convicts completely overrun this tank. So that's pretty much what's going on in this area of the house. I'll be back, Arrow. He's patiently waiting for his snacks. And then as we go out of the garage and into the basement, there's another cat. That's Cake. You probably can't see her too good because it's darker in here. Here's where most of the action is these days. This tank has got some very, very lovely blue frecks that are getting pretty good size now. I think they're approaching 2 years old, and they're 12 to 14 inches, along with all these lovely Peruvian green terrors. I have had a lot of losses on these because this tank was just way too overstocked, and I had not intended that to happen. But again, with the coronavirus and you know, not letting anybody in the house and what have you, there's no way to get rid of these fish. So nature took care of that, and I lost about a third of the population. And there's still one in here that's not doing great, but for the most part, things have calmed down. I'm doing three massive water changes a week. And next Thursday, I have Kevin and Shannon coming over, and they're going to help me tear this tank apart, probably for the last time. It's a lot of work to tear this thing apart, and I'm not getting any younger, so I'm not looking forward to it, but I think this will be the last time I do it. And we're going to catch some of these green terrors that they're going to take some home. But certainly I'll keep most of them, especially these gorgeous males like this guy down here. They have continued to spawn. They're doing really well. The umbies are doing great. I've got 2 big males that are just about the same size. And over there we've got a little Fred that's doing pretty well. And there's 2 female umbies in here. One of them is spawning. I'm not sure where she is right now. We're going to turn the corner and look this direction. You can see one of the females down there by that clay pot in her spawning coloration. I think there's eggs on the ground. If not, maybe fry by now. So that's what's going on with that tank. And we'll get over this way a little bit so you can... These guys are scattering because I'm getting really close to their tank and they don't like that. You get a pretty good shot of that Fred now. Kevin brought this thing over when it was a little teeny guy. He didn't have room for it, and so we tossed it in here against my better judgment, but it's done great. And he's a pretty fun fish, and you can see that female umbie guarding her. I can't tell back there if it's fry or eggs yet because it's just too far back. But she's not at anybody near, that's for sure. And down here we have another batch of green terror fry that I'm raising. I don't think there's not a ton of them in here, but there's probably 20 or so, something like that. They're doing quite well. And then over here, of course, we've got the big dovii and a couple chanchos are left and a few convicts. The most impressive thing about this dovii is his thickness. It is such a thick fish, and it's really hard to tell on a video, but he is a big, big fish nowadays. Probably equal in size by now to that old dovii I had. Or you can get it. There's a head-on shot of him. As he is not nearly as aggressive as the other one was, but when I'm cleaning the tank, sometimes he just goes ballistic and knocks the the vacuum tube out, and the siphon tube, I should say, and you know, it just gets a little crazy. For the most part, for as big as he is, letting fish like that survive unharmed, he's really kind of a mellow guy in a way. He's also well fed, so he doesn't have any great reason to attack these other guys. So let's see if he'll swim by this way and you get a shot of him. He does not like me pointing this thing at him. There, look at that. Even that Chancho had to chase them around a little bit. But he's got some really good colors. Again, this is a Nicaraguan for the most part, Dovi, where the one you saw in the other room was Costa Rican. Nicaraguans typically get more deep-bodied because they're in lakes for the most part, and the Costa Ricans, which are thriving primarily in rivers, are a little more streamlined. This guy does have some Costa Rican genes in him as well. I'm a big proponent of mixing different forms of the same species to get great genes. So, you know, I don't have any problem mixing Costa Rican and Nicaraguan Dovi to get some really fantastic specimens. I'm not a big proponent of mixing the different species, but, you know, to each his own. Anyhow, so that's what's going on there as I try to get up. Ugh. And another shot of the Dovi, or the umbies, and the green terrors in here. These Peruvian green terrors, you just have to see them in person. The camera just doesn't do them justice. They are so iridescent. Just really spectacular fish. But, as are these umbies, for that matter. And we'll give you another shot of, you can't really see him with the light coming in there. Arrow's getting impatient, so he's jumped on this tank to get my attention again. And there you can see him from the other end of this 8-foot long tank. You get an idea as to the size of this fish and the colors as he's sitting there. I'm almost done, Arrow, and I'll feed you. Anyway, guys, I'll give you a quick shot of this other little 80-gallon tank with, this is mostly convicts, but I do have some baby umbies that I've been raising. I moved them out of that 40 over there to make room for the green terrors, and I put them in here with the convicts, and they are doing quite well. There's about 5 of them, I think. There's the littlest one right, where did he go? There's a bigger one, and there's a little guy right there. That's a female. So I guess that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this. I haven't posted for a while, but again, I just don't have that much going on anymore. But I do appreciate everybody wishing me well and, you know, wanting updates and what have you. So here's an update for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care.